This is another 7 minutes on the Sabbath day, and tonight I'd like to talk about a few current things that have happened to me. I'm a runner. I run in a real pretty park near where I live and meet a lot of people there. And on Sundays, a lot of times, there'll be a little startup church that appears under a shelter with a few people and a rock and roll band. They always have to have a rock and roll band. I really don't understand this, but it helps draw a crowd, I guess. But there was only two guys with a van, and they were loading some equipment. So I asked one of them if he was the preacher, and he said, no, this other man is. So I went over to this man who said he was an ordained minister, and I asked him a few questions about Christianity, the history of his religion. And this man had no idea about anything. All he said was Jesus. And as I've told y'all before, that wasn't the man's real name, but there's nothing wrong with Jesus. Jesus is unbelievable. But you need to understand how people through history could have misused Jesus' words, because they're writing them down, not Jesus, and made things not what it appears. And I was just amazed that he thought he was a man of God, but did not know anything about his own religion. Now, if I was an ordained minister, I'd make sure I had some facts on hand if anybody asked me questions. And I'm going to ask y'all all the question right now. And none of you know it. Who ran the Jerusalem church for 33 years after Jesus was gone? There was a thing called the Jerusalem church, and they had a hierarchy, and they decided what went on. And the man that ran the show for 33 years was Jesus' brother, James the Just. That's what's hidden under the Vatican that the Catholic Church and the hierarchy don't want you to know. His next born brother. And in the Lost Gospels, he says he was the most righteous man that ever walked on earth. That's just what it says. I'm not writing it down, somebody else is. But they finally, after 33 years, threw him down the temple steps and clubbed him to death. And then Peter and Paul kind of start rolling with the show. And then 325, Constantine just orchestrates a masterpiece. He just did something so unbelievable that everyone went right with it. Do what you want to do and believe in Jesus. You're good to go. That's not what Jesus says at all. If you listen to what Jesus says in the book of Matthew, if you want to abide my love, keep the commandments. I've said this before. Abide means continue. When you go through life making every wrong choice, the love fades. Now tonight I'm going to teach you a little bit about the true eternal religion. A lot of people don't like the word religion. But if you knew the real understanding, all religion means basically to people very spiritual is keeping a certain order about things. They call it God. I don't like to use the word God. I call it the Creator's order. Like the Essenes say, the law, capital L-A-W. And when you go against the order, things happen. And it's amazing to me that the Essenes who lived in the Middle East basically practiced the Vedic religion or Vedic system, which people think is Hinduism, but it's not. Even the high-ranking spiritual Vedic people will tell you Hinduism is not Vedic. It's been manipulated once again by men. But the Vedic system, where do y'all think Jesus went from 13 to 30? Read your Bible. I know you haven't read it, but just read it and try to prove me wrong. He's not in the Bible from 13 to 30, basically, because he went to India. Sounds crazy to you Christians because y'all don't want to believe the truth, but that's the truth. He went to India. There's writings all about him in India that talk about him being there. They called him the Golden One. And like I said, his skin was half black and half white. He was a man of color. Had melanin in his skin, and they looked golden. That's the whole deal, right? He went there for 20 years and meditated and thought and did not live in this world, because if you live in this world, you can't think. You only do what you've been programmed to do and what they program you to do every day on the phone, on TV, on the computer. It's amazing. But when you go meditate and think, things come to you. But in the Vedic system, it's all about not attaining too much materialism. From a child, you should be trying to attain spiritualism. And that's what I've told y'all before. They practice something which they call Sanatana Dharma. Look it up so you won't think I'm just babbling. And this is called the eternal religion. And if this came into every religion, it would change the world. Because all you do is keep an order. What you eat, what you do. You practice a certain order, which is basically religion. When you lose religion or order, you become animals. You're a rational animal. When you lose rationality, you're an animal. And that's what's happening here. In the Vedic system, they talk about something called Kali Yuga, which is an age in time right now. How truthfulness, memory, everything is gone. Everybody's on everybody for we're living in this right now. And if we don't get this Vedic system into these religions, then all we're going to do is argue and kill each other till it's over, the end of this world. So people, please try to raise your consciousness. I can't beg you, I can't make you, but it's going to happen. These people predicted this a long time ago in India. Like I said, Jesus was an Essene. The Essenes practiced Vedic religion, an Eastern religion. They weren't Hebrew like the Jews were. That's why they called Jesus the foreigner. And he wrote and spoke in Aramaic. Thank you for listening.